Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, rumour has it, ghosts sit around the campfire and tell stories about him. He's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening everybody. Yeah,
good evening.
Stories.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
it's scary ones, spooky ones.
Oh, right.
And we're in the spooky season now.
We are.
It's actually mid-October, so yeah, we've got to get spooky.
We have.
Well, thank you anyway. We're getting back to thanking the people.
Yes, thank you very much for turning up and listening to us.
Yeah, thank you and welcome along to the show. Thanks for joining us for another spooky episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast. So whether you're a new listener or repeat offender,
keep listening.
Yeah, keep repeating. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do whatever. Do what you feel like at the end of the day. Yeah, we've got a great show this week.
We have.
You sound very relaxed today, Taylor.
Yeah, I am.
Super chilled.
Yeah,
it's like,
well,
hey,
yeah.
jazz.
Yeah,
it's all
out,
nice.
Man,
I like it. Chill out, man. Chill out. Take a chill pill. Anyway, let's get back into it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're already rambling. This week we've got a great show. We're going to be delving into the chilling story of the South Shields poltergeist. Well, this is considered one of the most prolific spookings.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And stuff of nightmares that's ever happened. Do you know what I mean, in the UK? So what really happened at 42 Lock Street, South Shields?
Yeah.
We're going to be looking into it a bit later on in the show. I bet you can't wait, can you? It's going to be an excellent episode, and I think like one of those where we've done the Enfield hauntings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whenever you talk about poltergeist in the UK, the Enfield haunting seems to get brought up.
Yeah, that's true.
This is one that when I started looking into it and getting all the details, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I would not want to have been on the receiving end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll find out all about it during the show. That's all coming up a bit later on. We got a few bits coming up, but what have you been up to this week, Mr. Taylor?
Me, I've actually been looking a bit more into the Syrians and the Anunnaki and that. Just trying to piece stuff together.
I did feel like you were getting a bit of an interest the last couple of weeks with the topics we were talking about.
Yeah.
And especially after Sherry came in and talked about the Atlantis stuff.
Yeah.
So I could see you getting a bit piqued interest. Have you found anything out?
I've found a bit more information out, but it's still like I'm still like, because it's such a wide range of like theories on it and what's actually been written.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is there any theories? Have any of the theories jumped out at you as being potentially real or fact or anything like that?
I potentially believe a majority of it, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it to me it stands to reason that we were manipulated, DNA manipulated, and because some of the other explanations just don't click clear to me. That
it's just not adding up, is it?
Yeah, and they also not admit that there is loads of gaps in it. So until them gaps are filled, then
it could be anything, couldn't it?
Well, yeah,
really,
exactly. It's just, and theories are just theories until the actual facts turn up.
Well, that's it. It's down to independent researchers and scientists and people out there to kind of gather information and get informed opinions
and collate it all together
and kind of like see what's correct, what's not.
Yeah.
So it's the same with all this Congress stuff with the UFO at the moment. I've always said this: the amount of kind of bogus evidence that's going to get put forward over this time. Or stuff that is already been established as hoax within the UFO community, which has now got to go in front of Congress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same with anything like that. It's always going to get scrutinised, no matter whether it's fact or fiction.
And there's always new data. And it's always new data that actually changes the information that's just been told. You know what I mean? And it's like, hold on, I never got that little part in there. That was nice little nugget and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that sounds really interesting. Have you been up to anything exciting? Because rather than just doing a bit of studying, because you sound like a little bookworm.
Yeah,
so he never goes out. No, he's a little recluse.
No, I met a famous drummer.
You met a famous drummer, but didn't you meet a famous comedian as well? Like,
yes, I did.
I mean,
yeah.
you don't have to go into names, but I mean that was quite exciting.
Yeah, I got a nice little selfie with him.
I saw, yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know,
everyone's gonna be like, "Who was it? Who was it?"
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna keep that as a little secret. You might not know.
Now.
Anyway. What have I been up to?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I don't know. I can't think. Just been really kind of doing a lot of content stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
keeping busy.
Yeah.
I had the flu last week. That's why we didn't drop an episode.
Yeah, that's true.
I've still got a bit of a cough.
I think
you might hear me cough.
I think you passed it on to me, bud.
Everyone's getting it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, no, because I felt fine after 2 days, but just couldn't shift the cough. Yeah, but it was like one of those where, do you know, where you just feel like lack of energy?
Yeah.
So everybody's getting ill for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But anybody who has the flu this week and you're kind of suffering with a lemsip in bed, I hope you get better.
Yeah.
Hope you feel better. Do you know what I mean?
And it'll
feel
only
better
get
soon.
Better and you feel better
You'll be back to work.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing you could do as a wellness supplement is check out Orange County CBD.
Oh, yeah.
They don't just do CBD.
No.
They do like caffeine stuff, like caffeine gummies as well.
Yes,
I discovered. But honestly, basically, this week's episode is brought to you by our sponsor,
Orange County
CBD, the wellness supplement. It's good for kind of a lot of different things, CBD, isn't it? So it's good for kind of like joint inflammation.
Yes, definitely.
You can get balms actually, which is kind of, if you don't want to take anything like that orally, it's more like a cream or a balm.
Yeah.
So you rub it on your sore joints, sore bones, and it works in that way. Helps relieve the
pain and the stresses in that area.
Also, it's pretty good for kind of stress relief.
Yes.
You just said that there, but it's good for stress relief, but it's also kind of good for helping you get a good night's sleep naturally as well. So if you're interested in finding out about CBD, you can go over to orangecounty.com.
Yeah.
There'll be a link in the description anyway, where you can find out more about that. Any orders over £25, you get free delivery, and if you use the code NASAPod in the checkout, you'll I think you'll get an extra discount.
Yeah,
as well, 15% off the complete order. So check it out. It's all available in the description. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Orange County.
Thank you.
We'll be moving on because we've got loads to get through in the
We have. We've got a massive story.
So, it is a massive story. In terms of kind of poltergeists...
kind of shocked me, to be honest, when I was looking into this. It kind of shocked me.
How do you mean it shocked you?
As in, like, well... I've seen like loads of movies, seen loads of stories about ghosts and that, but this seemed like a step upwards.
It was kind of like, we'll get into it because there was certain aspects of the haunting, we should say, that were kind of like very new in the style of haunting. Like I think you'd say using technology, using methods that have been kind of unseen by. But what would you call a phantom or a spectre or a ghost? Yeah. These things that happen to this family that you just can't explain.
And I believe it still may be going on.
Well, it could be because if the house is still there, then it could be the case that there is something going on still to this day. But it might not be about the house. Like you think that it could be like a house that's haunted. Maybe it's the person who's living in the house that's haunted.
Yeah, I've got some very big questions about
Well, we'll be getting into it. Well, it was over at 42... Lock Street, yes, where this all happened.
Supposedly, because the names are actually... we've never actually got the names because they want to stay anonymous because they don't want, backlashes off it from, like, work colleagues or people in the street.
Well, they do kind of have names, don't they? There was Emily, there was who was a teenage daughter. There was Sophie, Robert, and they had a younger son, Henry, I think, as well. But there was also Mark and the wife.
Yeah.
I think that's right. But anyway, so they had a family full of people living in the house. Obviously, the world of the paranormal is very mysterious, intriguing, and has a lot of unanswered questions. One of the cases, obviously, is the South Shields poltergeist. It unfolded in a quiet little Tynemway house in South Shields, England, during the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to try and deep dive into it. Mm-hmm. It is a chilling story, yeah. And obviously, the South Shields poltergeist is kind of one of those ones that once we started looking into it, it was kind of like, wow. I mean, the Enfield hauntings, there's certain aspects to it that are quite chilling, but this is next level. Yeah, in terms of like what you consider evil in a ghost.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
But it might not be what it seems.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. Well, we'll get into it.
Soon find out.
Obviously, like there was investigations done on the property to find out over the time what was going on. One such investigator was Darren Ritson. He wrote a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
We'll post a link to that in the description as well. So if you're interested in finding out more, I'm sure you'll find it there.
Yeah.
But you know, this was a modest home in South Shields. The Anderson family were living there quite happily when they found themselves in the middle of something that they'd never expected. Poltergeist activity. There was something, you know, they had lived in quite a tranquil home. You know, everything was fine. Like the family life was fine. Yeah, but all of a sudden, things started happening around the house that they couldn't really explain. Right?
Yeah, I believe the first thing was when the mother had put the kids to bed, and then she's come downstairs, and in the kitchen, the tables and chairs were put on like each other. So she shouted her husband to see if he did something, and he walked in and he was shocked himself, so she knew straight away that he hadn't done anything.
Well, I know, yeah. Well, this is the thing, because between them, they kind of blamed each other for like things happening around the house, where if things were being moved, like they'd put it down to one of them just being absent-minded or not kind of like remembering that they did something, they moved something. Yeah. And that was fine for a little while. But,
it started
it started off small, exactly. So there was just little things moving around. You say stacking the chairs, that sounds quite, Yeah,
to me, that sounds quite the beginning of most, like, if you watch Poltergeist.
Well, it's like, nobody stacks books like that.
Yeah, that seems to be the start of the situation, and then it just anticipates and then grows and grows and grows, and then all of a sudden...
You mean it exacerbates?
Yes. It grows, and then it either stops for some kind of reason, or it continues, or it moves on, but generally it doesn't move on. It generally, to me, it seems like it's either us on our biology, and we still don't know certain aspects of it that we should know, like
telekinesis and stuff like that. Yeah. So maybe like it's not a ghost moving these things; it's you, and you just don't know how you're doing it, or why you're doing it, or how to stop doing it.
Yeah. Because
that's
possibly
one theory.
The 3-year-old son that's because he seemed to be one of the targets,
which was Robert.
Yeah. Which he had a little friend as well, which he admitted at one point.
Well, Robert seemed to be a bit of a focus on this, but also the mother, right? It seemed to be like that, right. And like we say, it started small, so there was little things happening. So they'd start seeing coins like fly across the room.
This is another
really random things like being kind of thrown across the room, stuff that wouldn't be able to be explained because there was no one in the vicinity of the direction where these things were being thrown from.
Yeah, and it seems like they may even have cut, like if they were on the top floor, they just went and come through.
Like it actually kind of phased through the floor, so it was able.
Which is interesting because I find that interesting as well, because of majority of poltergeists as well, and spirits that move objects. Coins are mainly involved. I think there's something, and to me as well, could it be some kind of sign or symbol?
Well, maybe it could be about frequencies and we could. Yeah, so if you think about how we think that paranormal ghosts or entities can kind of interact with electrical devices,
Yeah.
then that'll probably be because it's on an electrical frequency. They can tap into it. Metal and anything, wood, metal, fucking anything that you can see around you will have a frequency it vibrates on.
Yeah.
So if these beings are able to kind of tap into these certain frequencies and they're able to kind of manipulate metal coins, somewhat small like a coin, or more easily be able to kind of turn something and turn an electrical device on, because it's nowadays it's all just the tap of a piece of plastic, and there's no force to be able to turn things on anymore. It's literally like sensor driven, a lot of stuff.
It's very interesting as well that it's come from the society having no electric stuff to actually having electric stuff, and the ghosts or spirits kind of can get into that frequency. Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, so like it wasn't just small objects that this poltergeist started moving. You mentioned the chairs, but there was so many kind of other instances where,
like the toilet.
So levitating objects. The family members reported witnessing household items such as chairs, books, levitate and move without any cause.
And repeat. A lot of it at the beginning repeated doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and this was all through the day and the night. Mysterious noises. So the family frequently heard giggling from upstairs in Robert's bedroom. So she'd be downstairs and she'd hear giggling from the bedroom, and nobody would be in the house.
No.
She'd also hear kind of other creepy noises, knocking sounds. In the home, so these sounds were reverberated in the quiet night. So, obviously it added to the kind of creepy atmosphere, because in the daytime you're just getting on with your stuff. You've got washing machines going. You've got, you're just getting on with your day-to-day. Things, kids running around. You might be able to kind of dismiss a lot of it. But when you're in the dead of night and you lay in bed and these noises start, and it's like, wait a minute, there's definitely something going on.
But you
where's that giggling coming from?
Try and guess what that is before you decide to, I'm getting out of bed just to see.
The family were getting a bit stressed out by this point, obviously, and they've ended up, calling people in to do investigations when, obviously, it kind of got into the media as well. And is it Darren? He came along. He basically wanted to get involved. He'd been doing other researches. And
Mike Holloway.
Yeah, that's Mike Holloway. And Daryl, I forgot his second. Ritson.
Yeah.
They basically came and expected to be there a while, not really kind of see anything, just kind of put it to bed and dismiss it. Yeah. But what they didn't expect was full-on paranormal activity from the minute they walked in.
Yeah.
They were getting things thrown at them. They were like literally hearing things come through
from the bedroom,
on any equipment. In fact, there was reports of, talking about equipment, baby monitor.
Yeah.
So there was a baby monitor sat on the side, and basically they said that the kid, it said that, I'm getting chills now, but it basically said, your kid's about to fall out of bed. Yeah. And he went up and had to check on the kid, but he was like literally on the edge.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, where it come through on the baby monitor, and this is Mark who reported this to the investigators, but like they were getting kind of readings straight away. They were getting objects thrown, seeing levitating objects.
Yeah, there's loads of witnesses.
So over the whole encounter, over the whole few years, there was definitely a lot of witnesses. And we'll get into that, because there was one incident where there was at least 11 witnesses at one point. But obviously, there was noises, footsteps, a lot of kind of unexplained knocking sounds, things that echoed. It was kind of creepy, right? Yeah. Now, this family have never been involved in anything like this before, so they're just kind of like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. There was numerous occasions where, the home would suddenly, turn on the water. The taps would just turn on for no reason.
Even they would have gone to bed at night, and they'd turn, when they get up in the morning, the doors open. Open.
So they'd lock all the doors, but so there was obviously something in the house that they were kind of living with. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it got to the point then where things were starting to really heat up. Yeah. You've got kind of, besides all this kind of minimal activity, what you wouldn't consider minimal activity, there was like really large items starting to move around and being placed in really suspect ways and positions.
Yes.
So one day when the mother came home, she went into the house, nobody had been in.
No.
And one of the Robert's toys was sat up at the top of the stairs, this bunny rabbit, Teddy, and it had a box cutting blade, like a Stanley knife, in its hand, like basically in its paw, right?
Yeah, that freaked you out.
Now, that'd freak you out in itself, right? Yeah.
That's just giving you a warning.
But more things like this started happening surrounding Robert's toys. So there was another incident where they had a rocking horse.
Yes.
And this rocking horse was basically like moving on its own and a bit weird. Like, so then they ended up
putting it in the attic.
Putting it in the attic, but then it was found hanging from the attic door. By its straps. Like this rocking horse's stirrup, not stirrup. So what would you call it? It's a harness.
That's right.
Hanging up from its harness, hanging out of the loft. Right. So they think, fuck this, mate. Stick it in the garden. Yeah.
As you do.
Stuck it in the garden. Where do you think it ended up?
In the garden?
Back in the house. Yeah,
Freaky.
right? So they burn it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the only way to get rid of it.
Too right, yeah, that's what you do. You burn that shit.
Well, it probably did come back, but just as a ghost.
Ooh, ghost rocking horse. So this getting on now. This is getting, like, ridiculous now, don't you think?
Yeah.
But this carried on. And obviously the paranormal investigators were on hand to kind of witness a lot of these things happening. And like I say, one of them actually wrote a book about it because there was so much that they couldn't explain.
Yeah, like smell of wee in the bedroom at certain times as well.
So there was supposedly so basically there was a patch of urine, or what they considered to be a patch of urine, which would always kind of appear in the middle of the carpet in the son's bedroom.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, where nobody was in. Yeah, so it was just weird that this patch of smelly, kind of pissy, kind of patch carpet was always... It was always that spot.
Temperature as well used to go up and down at different degrees. And
when you said blood, that was actually really horrible because it was one of those where they went to the toilet, flushed the system, and rather than water come out and replenish your toilet bowl, it was a red blood thing. It was like blood coming through. Whether it was blood or not, it seemed to be.
Yeah.
Now, things...
Weirdest thing on that one, though, is when they try to get the evidence of it, it flush.
Whenever they try and grab anything.
Yeah. And Darren actually reckons if he did it again, he would have actually tried to get some sample of the wee.
Yes, well, he said that that was one thing that he was a bit kind of disappointed about, the fact that he didn't get any samples. But, but
he got other samples. There was plenty of witnesses as well, and there was other stuff that...
It's like you said about temperature shifts there. Apparently, according to the researchers and the family, sudden shifts in, temperature, really chilling temperature drops, were only kind of in little areas, certain areas of the house. And, quite weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just...
Well... It did actually start getting weirder.
It did.
Right. So, all the while, obviously the kid's in the bedroom, he's getting he's feeling like he's got this fucking ghost hovering over him. The mum's getting stressed out because she's doesn't know what to do, where to turn. Mark, the husband, is being actually physically attacked by this thing. It's clawing at him. He's developing scratches, marks, rashes, and even at one point drew blood. We'll get into that in a minute. Yeah. But there was loads of kind of aggression towards Mark, the husband.
Yeah.
There was one point where this ghost started kind of sending them messages, right? Yeah, on an etch-a-sketch sort of drawing doodle pad.
It certainly did on the kids' doodles.
So it was drawing messages saying go, 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 and all this. But then it suddenly changed its tune where the mum was about to kind of leave and for a couple of days and stay with a family member. And it'd be like, don't go, please don't go. I'll come with you I'll follow you if you go. Yeah.
Because it started texting.
Yeah, well, this is what I was going to get into, because it started leaving random messages. Strange messages started to appear mysteriously in mirrors, on the walls, on doodle pads. It started to become deeply unsettling, and another dimension to the haunting.
Yeah.
Now it was actually trying to communicate with them. These messages often, were ominous, saying that they was going to kill them, that they was going to, follow them, that we're going to... But they wanted them to leave the house, but then they wanted them to stay in the house.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like... And if they did leave the house, they would come with them. Yeah. So this kind of, like, element of fear has suddenly came into it, where they're actually feeling physically threatened now. Mark's actually being physically hurt by these things, or whatever it is.
Yeah, but the freaky thing on that is that the day after, the marks are gone.
Yeah, because it was like kind of healed overnight, didn't he?
Yeah.
Now, I thought I bite my nails,
Yeah.
and I get hangnails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And often I wake up with a scratch down my side on my back.
Yeah.
Because I've scratched myself in the night.
Yeah.
I did, it wasn't a demon or anything like that.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I've scratched myself with a hangnail.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I've got a physical mark.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's a little red mark. Sometimes it's a physical cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No bruises.
Maybe I've got to be skeptical on that one.
Yeah.
That it could be something as simple as that. But when these strange messages start appearing, saying all these ominous warnings about how they're going to get him or follow him or do all this stuff, it starts adding this next dimension to the haunting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how would you feel if you were in that situation? Because I'd be a bit freaked out.
Well, yeah, especially when, like, there was messages going on from Mark's phone, supposedly. So they were all in the same room, and they all threw the phones in one room.
Yeah, calm down. We've not got there yet, right? Yeah, right. So, like you were saying, messages is one thing, but they did start texting, and they did. I want to get into this because this is next level. Yeah, right.
This makes me
this is crazy, right? And then I started thinking about this as in, like, the mother, I think, is she called Carol? I'm going to say Carol, right? Well, whatever her name is, right? Starts getting text messages, yeah? But from Marianne. So Marianne starts getting text messages from Mark's phone, right? Mark stood there, phone's on the side, and he's like, I've not texted you, yeah?
No.
Now, in today's day and age, you can schedule things. Yeah, right?
That's true.
So you could schedule all these text messages to come through, and you don't even have to be, oh, my phone's over there, what are you doing? I've not sent any text.
That's true.
Like, on my hoax side of my brain is
that's
going...
now.
Yeah, this was early 2000s, so mobile phone technology weren't that great, right?
No.
So whether you could schedule text messages, I don't know. But the point being is, text messages were coming through, hello, hi,
yeah.
Hello, hi. You okay? Sorry. Yeah? All these
yeah.
messages coming through on Marianne's phone, right? From Mark, right? Mark's stood next to her. His phone's on the side. Paranormal investigators stood there, and they're witnessing this.
Yeah.
So they decide, let's try taking the battery out, of the phone.
Yeah.
Messages still keep coming, right? Messages are coming through to the mobile. Start coming through to the landline. Yeah, do you know, with the creepy voice?
Yeah.
The automated voice.
Yeah.
Hello, you have a message from blah blah blah.
Fuck freaky thing.
On that which fucking creep you out in itself, right? But basically, they're getting bombarded with messages.
Yeah.
Right. Even friends of the family start getting messages from the mobile texter, phantom texter.
Yeah.
Like saying we're gonna come and get you, right, and all this, right?
Freaky.
So they take the SIM card out, battery out, everything, right? This phone's out of commission, but text messages still carry on coming through. Yeah. Now,
some kind of power source of some sort that's moving it.
Well, this is the thing. So they basically, like, I mean, what do you think about that? About the whole idea that a ghost could use somebody's phone, tap into a mobile network, and be able to...
And untraceable as well.
Untraceably send a text message.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't untraceable because they've traced it back to Mark's phone, haven't they? He's come up on a dial list.
But also on other occasions, they thought it was someone else, and they couldn't work out that it went nowhere, basically. But I do know back in the day on that technology, there was a big thing on hacking. There was so many
Bluetooth?
doorways to actually be able to actually
people could just get in your phone on Bluetooth sat on the
on
bus
the power
back in the 2000s.
But you didn't have the power there, though. You know what I mean, to operate it unless it was separated, which would have to be a bigger pack. So then
I remember there was a thing you could download to your Nokia 3210. Yeah. That if you rang someone's number, you could take control of their phone. And go, and go if you were on Bluetooth, you get them on Bluetooth, and then you could access and start dialing people and stuff, and they'd be sat there going, "What the fuck's going on?" And you're sat there, sneakily controlling their phone. So whether he had a cloned phone, maybe, and even though his phone was off, he was still able to send text messages from that same number. I mean. I'm trying to think what could possibly be doing this stuff, right? I mean, a little bit about
physical as well as like messaging and that.
Exactly. I mean, I've never heard of a ghost. I mean, I know it's good to talk. Well, Bob Hoskins back in the 2000s, but it's good to talk.
But I think in some way it's trying to it's
communicate. It's trying to communicate on a frequency, basically. Tapping into a frequency.
And probably messaging what they're trying to say.
Well, I mean, but a bit of understanding about poltergeists. That was me fucking Bob Hoskins still coming through. Poltergeists are often referred to as noisy ghosts. They're entities that might behave or cause physical disturbances in the environment that they're in. These disturbances can include moving objects, making loud noises, or even causing harm to individuals. Unlike traditional ghosts, which are typically
soft,
Casper.
Basically.
Which obviously just do hauntings.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I'm only a mid-level ghost. I've not bumped myself up to poltergeist yet.
I must get the cheese.
I need to do that course. So they've not done the course, right? Yeah. So they basically move. Their focus is just on creating chaos. And, no. Poltergeists are manipulating and creating chaos, is what I'm saying.
Here's an easier way. Poltergeist has energy, ghosts don't.
Do you think so? Do you think, in the movie Ghost, do you know the guy he meets on the train?
Oh, yeah.
Right. He can move stuff, right? Yeah, and he's like that Patrick Swayze, and he's like, hey, how'd you do that? Because he wants to get, and it's something that he can learn. So do you think that being a poltergeist is just something that you kind of come to become by being around so long? So say you die, a new ghost ain't going to be able to do any of that stuff because he's new. He doesn't understand how to manipulate the energy yet or be in this new form. Yeah. Over time, a ghost might be like, hey, check what I can do. Look, I can do this. I can move a penny. Hooray, I didn't know I could do that. Do you know what I mean? Have certain skills that are able to kind of like manipulate our physical world, rather than just exist as an entity in it. I don't know, maybe they have a bit more control over their environment than we realise. I don't know, I really don't know.
Because it's a possibility that it could be trying to messages from like in time as well. Time could actually be.
Well, this is the thing, because it's like they could just be like, so say if there is another dimensional plane, and it's, the Earth's multi-dimensional, for instance, right, and there's several different planes all operating, and we're on one physical plane, but there's other physical planes where none of this is even visible. It's all just occupying the same point in space and time. Right. Other than that, they're on a different vibration to us, and they can't see us just like we can't see them. Right. But every so often, those vibrations come close, and you see something. You see an echo, or you see some sort of.
Possibly somehow you walk into your own vibration.
And who knows? Maybe this next dimension, which is so close to us, which is operating independently from us, is exactly the same in a parallel world sort of way. Maybe there is another you in this world operating, and this is where you get the deja vu stuff from. Who knows? But what a ghost is, whether it's an afterlife for us, or whether it's something else completely, who knows? I mean, it's
with that theory, what if there is something wrong with it? Something is interrupting it that's actually making us see.
Well, maybe it's something that we've created on either side. Who knows? It could be them, or it could be us, or it could be both.
Or it could be just us as the human being.
Well,
we're not knowing ourselves. So,
I mean, was there anything else that we've missed on this poltergeist? I mean, how it ends. I mean, what? I mean, they ended up getting 11 people, 11 paranormal investigators who all came in and witnessed moving objects, lights flickering, cold spots, and Mark being physically attacked, to the point where he drew blood. He was actually bleeding blood, and he was physically attacked. What happened with them afterwards? I mean, I couldn't tell you, because I couldn't find anything about where they went.
I think they went dark after that.
They just didn't really kind of want to be involved in any of the press activity surrounding it.
I think possibly it could have been the child, because here's one that I thought was really freaky with the kid, was that there was something to do with a cupboard, because there was a cupboard in his room that kept moving and stuff.
There's so many more things that we've not covered. There was the furniture moving in his room, but there was a chair that was over him,
oh no, he was wrapped in his blanket, swaddled. He could not move, and then he had a table over the top, to keep him down.
Yes,
but he was asleep.
Right.
Thankfully.
There was another incident where a wardrobe was put on top of his crib, but the kid was asleep inside wardrobe.
the wardrobe,
Then there was loads of incidents with the kid's toys. There was a policeman toy that was found with a piece of cord around its neck, and literally hanging from a bookcase that the kid couldn't even reach.
And then the next time they seen it, it had its head off.
It had its head broken off.
So
there was plenty of incidents with the kids' toys that were just like, what? There was incidents where the kitchen knives would be found in the kids' room.
On
the floor,
like,
and it inches away from the bed.
A couple of seconds before.
Exactly. So I mean, these it started getting to the point where it was kind of like fearful. I think the family was fearful. I don't think they stayed there, but there was a lot of kind of people who actually believed that the ghost, it wasn't anything to do with the property. It was more to do with the people. Now, you said you think it was the son, but there was a lot of the investigators who believed that it was Mark, that the spirits were mostly interested in.
But I think on that front, it is that the son may have had some kind of vengeance against the father or something like that. And
how old was his son?
Had telekinesis somehow. And don't forget, when you get because there's a lot of incidences when kids are just turning puberty. That a lot of
he's 3 years old. He's not going through puberty. This is what I'm saying. But he's like developing.
Still at that age of developing where he's developing that much.
Wow.
That he could,
now that is a theory.
Your brain isn't developed yet, but it's still in that stage of him, and in between that stages of forming a certain way, that it could have some kind of.
And able to tap into mobile phone signals and networks and stuff.
Well, not necessarily.
That's crazy. It's not crazy. I don't mean that like that's crazy. You're crazy. I'm just saying that that's actually kind of a really cool theory. I'm not sure. I mean, it's like in terms of how it's presented as a poltergeist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, on this one, it's the closest. It's even closer than we've ever been before, I'd say.
I'd say so, but I mean, even with the Enfield hauntings, you were able to kind of get an identity of the ghost, right? So, I mean, as far as I know, they just called it Frank or whatever. Do you know what I mean? In this instance, but with the Enfield hauntings, it actually communicated through Janet and was able to kind of answer questions, and they were able to get a bit of prior history from family members who lived there. Had a connection to the property, and they was able to piece the potential history of this entity, this ghost. After having conversations with it, as well as kind of having that previous history, there was kind of nothing presented in this instance, to suggest, well, all those investigators who went out, and I mean, I'm sure there could be some of this stuff in the book. So if I am wrong, then fair play. But the idea that nobody tried to kind of work out who this was by asking it questions, by trying to communicate with it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the Enfield hauntings had more answers, in the sense that they were able to kind of say, well, it was rather a really elaborate hoax, or this guy was a genuine spirit.
To be honest, you know what I really don't think it's a hoax. The only thing I'm thinking of that in some other kind of way, it's either the child who's going through a stage biologically that we don't understand yet.
Maybe.
Or it is something else intervening, trying to communicate.
Well, Daryl and the other investigators basically started saying, because it's feeding off energy, right, let's try switching all the power off at night. Yeah, right. Let's see if that helps.
Yeah.
And that started to happen, right, yeah. Now, this actually could be something more to it as well, because, like, there's no power, then anything that you wanted to set up, like, say if it was a hoax and somebody was fucking with them, basically, right, wouldn't you think that any of that would be set up at night, to get ready for the next day?
Yeah.
Maybe it was one of the other kids, who knows, right,
Well,
one of the older ones who was able to do a bit of tech, setting things up at night to play out the next day, like, right, Mate, I don't know. I'm just trying to, answer questions.
Well, because it is a
So, but when the investigators turned around and said, "Why not just turn all your electricity off? Because if there's no power, then there's nothing to feed this spirit's energy." Yeah, and it turned out that actually really helped, because as mysteriously as it begun, the South Shields poltergeist activity eventually subsided, leaving behind multiple questions and unanswered fucking stories.
This is what makes me think it's possibly the kid, because
this is it. Well, skeptics would say that this whole ordeal was a hoax. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whether it was a phantom or not, it's an
happened.
elaborate prank. This thing really happened and kind of affected a family for a very long time. And obviously caused a lot of problems within the family. However, the behaviours remained, like, steadfast. They basically kept taking the electric off. They kept doing things like they normally do, heighten the security in the house.
It was blessed as well.
They blessed every room, didn't they?
Yeah, but that only lasted for, I believe, 2 days, and then it started back again. It carried on.
Well, it's bewildered many people, and obviously continues to be a topic of intrigue and debate. But obviously the story is in the realms of the supernatural, whether you believe it or not. It's an interesting story, and the kind of the claims that were made are so far out, and so many people witnessing it, firsthand.
In fact, the investigator who did the Enfield investigation, he's got like a society that grades actual, ghost
it's the psychical research. Mosh Grossman. Maurice Gross from he was a member, wasn't he, of the Enfield investigation,
and he's put it like near the top, basically.
It's kind of one of the most sort of compelling cases, I suppose. Well, like I say, whether you lean towards the paranormal or the hoax side, the South Shields poltergeist stands as one of the most enduring sources of curiosity and caution, compelling us to explore our boundaries, but of the unknown. But obviously, be mindful of
and if you did do the practical joke, well, I think you've done it, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, there you go. But obviously, thanks to people who are dedicated, like researchers and people who go to the efforts of investigating these things, like Darren, Ritter. And what was the other chap called?
Mark Hillwell.
Right, okay. Were you sure that was the investigator, Mark's?
Yeah, because them two were the ones who first
Halliwell.
Upstairs.
Guys like that obviously like do the investigation, your Maurice Grosses, all these types of people who dedicate themselves. They don't know what they're going to be doing. They don't know how it's going to all play out. And whether you go in there because you just want to poo-poo it and dismiss it and get on with your day and go and see the next one, or you kind of thrust into this kind of like fucking activity, then good on you. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Well, there you
Go
go.
for it, man.
Well, we'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts about tonight's show. Do you believe in the ghosts? I do. I kind of do believe in it. I think most people do believe in ghosts.
I think we've still got a lot to go on, and I think it's more than what we think it is.
Well, we'd love to hear your opinion. So if you've got a comment or a just general kind of question about it, do feel free to drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. There's plenty of ways you can get in touch. You can send us an email at neverastraightanswer@outlook.com.
That's right.
You can go to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk.
Yeah.
And or just
just go to the website.
Go. I just said that. Yeah. You can go hit us up on social media as well. And it's like right. You can go to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk, and he goes, you could just go to the website.
Yeah, but now I've made you say it twice.
I know, yeah, well, you remember now, won't you?
Yeah, you will.
Well, there you go. We've got plenty of stuff coming up in the show so far anyway. We've got more even coming up in the show. So we'll get on with that in a minute. Well, I don't know what we're talking about later. It's all coming up right now, because I'll tell you what we've got. The news. It's the news! Oh, yeah. We've looked around the World Wide Web to find the newsiest news around for this week, and I don't think we've disappointed. There's plenty of stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
100%. But where do you want to start off? I found a few stories. Some quite silly. Some not so. First one. Flight to Florida had to return back to the airport.
Oh, why?
Because of a suspicious package.
Oh, right.
Now, this was a suspicious package. I mean, it was probably a deadly package. Yeah. Right. When the airport security at is it Panama City International Airport actually got to the package, it turned out to be an adult diaper.
Oh, wow.
I know, yeah. So the Boeing 737-800 landed around about 11 a.m. local time. They had to isolate the plane, send in the squad, to do a retrieval. 144 passengers were taken off the plane. Oh, my days. What a rigmarole. But, it turned out to be an adult diaper.
Oh, no, man.
I know, yeah. Whoever's that belonged to, they must have been mortified, really, wouldn't they? I mean, imagine that.
Well, you wouldn't take it off unless it was full anyway, would you, really?
Well, no, that's what I'm getting at, especially if you were on a flight and you were like a bit kind of weak-stomached and you were a bit nervous.
Yeah. Where's that smell coming from?
Oh, my days, you stashed that. They probably did that. It's exactly what happened. They probably had an accident, stashed it, and then that's been discovered as a suspicious package.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You've got to be careful these days.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when flying, not leaving things lying around.
Yes.
I mean, no matter how embarrassed you are, I'm pretty sure a flight attendant would help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you going to be that guy?
Laughing.
Excuse me, I seem to have shat myself.
Bring a black bag.
I do have an adult diaper on. Is there any chance that you could dispose of it? I would not like to create an international incident.
Yeah, and then they pick you up and it's like, oh, fucking hell, it's like a suitcase.
I know, imagine it's like, that's not going to turn to blue ice, is it?
No.
Be more careful, I think. Have you seen anything in the news that you've... I thought we'd just give you a nice little turd story before we started.
Yeah, now we're flushing it.
Right, let's go.
Have you heard this about no more prisoners to go to prison from Monday onwards?
What? No more prisoners to go to prison for anything?
Yeah, at the moment, the police have been told not to send anyone to prison, basically.
What?
Yeah. From Monday.
Why?
Because the prisons are that full. The last couple of months, they've been juggling around hundreds of places, and that's it. They filled all the gaps.
Literally. So what? So is it a fucking no man's land now? Is it like you can't get arrested? You can't get imprisoned?
You can still get arrested, but if you're charged, you're probably been given a fucking bracelet and an anklet, and then go home. Or maybe
house arrest, basically. Yeah. So you basically quarantined.
Yeah, again. Until all the prison. Well, there's a little bit
until
more
there's a bit of space, and they was like, right, you're coming in.
Which there is, because the other week we were talking about these super prisons that are opening up. and there's one already.
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, it's like obviously there is cause. The penal system's proper outdated.
Yeah,
there's never really much investment into new prison facilities. They just kind of retrofit the older stuff, which is fit for purpose as far as the government are concerned. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're there for punishment, not for a good time or to be like, having great amenities. So, it's one of those, isn't it? I think the problem is a space issue. So, I mean, do you build more prisons to house the growing population? Or do you just try and
cause and effect?
Well, the problem is at the moment is a lot of people hard up and taking drastic measures.
Yeah, but they've been arrested for
or misdemeanors.
Wrong.
Or wrongfully arrested. Wrongfully arrested. I mean?
And like fines and like, you didn't pay your fucking council tax, right? You got to go to jail. Then. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. I'd say probably the majority of the jails are filled with people who have done literally nothing. Yeah, it's like not paid a bill or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's like,
tax avoidance or some shit like that.
Yeah,
instead of murderers and that.
Well, I know what you're saying. It's just what's considered against the law, isn't it? And
obviously,
how they treat it. I think like obviously if they're going to a court and the court's saying the penalty for your crime is imprisonment. Then maybe they need to look at different ways of punishing you, which doesn't include jail time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've been looking for that for a long time.
Well, you've got community service. Right. You've got kind of like, I've seen people doing community service stuff as part of...
We could do certain things like hangings.
Go old school, exactly, man. Bring the old gallows back.
Get rid of the problem instead of throwing cash at it. We get rid of the problem.
Yeah, why not?
When they're 100% guilty, they've got to be 100%.
They've got to be 100% guilty.
Yeah.
Well, they do that. It's called death row.
Yeah, but then they'd spend like fucking couple of years in prison that that's been paid for. When it's like, right, we've sentenced you, right. Tomorrow, bang, see ya.
Oh right,
you know what I mean. Then it cuts a lot.
Say goodbye to your wife and family. Here's your last meal.
Yeah,
KFC.
Yeah,
mental.
Shouldn't have been a dick then. Should you?
Stop being a dick. Right. Well,
he will after that.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, like you say, people go to prison for all types of things. But side hustle, they're doing a side hustle. They're trying to get by. Even working people are trying to get by and have side hustles.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like here's a story about a Minneapolis police officer.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
I know, isn't it? Just who apparently was outed for having an OnlyFans page.
Oh, right.
He was an OnlyFans model. After she pulled over, so this is a woman police officer, apologise, who she pulled over a driver who turned out to be one of her subscribers.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, shame. So, at the weekend, Fox News learned that an officer is now being investigated by the police department to deem whether she's broke the police policies or not, guidelines and stuff as working as a police officer, as well as an erotic model.
Disrepute.
So, I mean, whether she's using her police uniform in any of the sketches,
went and bought one.
But, I mean, or using her police identity as something like that. Whether what she does in her own time is totally down
as
to
long
her.
As you don't bring the police in disrepute.
Exactly, but whether this has, I think they're still coming up with whether that has broke guidelines and policies.
Things,
obviously, the driver who recognised the officer came out with it. He said, "Wait a minute, whoa, you're pulling me over. I subscribed to you." So the OnlyFans page, he'd been following her for about 5 months, and says it took him about 10 minutes before he figured it out. He's like not used to seeing her with all her clothes on.
Well, yeah, that's it.
But obviously, then they were doing the routine talk and doing the checks and stuff like that, and the man was like, "Hang on, don't I follow you on OnlyFans?" Obviously, the police officer was a bit kind of taken back by this. It must have been a bit of a stalemate situation, but if she's already put him through the system, it's too late, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she can't turn around and go, "Well, you have a nice day, sir," and drive off. Do you know what I mean?
Well, she could have.
Well, she might not. Well, that's what I'm saying. She might have initially, but she's been questioning him for 10 minutes. Putting him through the system, checking his records, all the rest of it. Then he's figured out that he's a follower of her. Yeah. And then there's this sort of like awkward moment where she knows she's fucked, but he's got kind of the upper hand, even though he's still got a fine or whatever he's being charged with, speeding or whatever.
Yeah,
but whatever the reason was, he was pulled over.
Yeah.
But it's one of them now. Well, he's outed her. Yeah. By this, this has actually come out. So whether she wouldn't get rid of the ticket or whatever, the law's the law.
The law is the law.
Anyway,
yeah.
Interesting story. Anything come up your end? Hey,
that's what she said. Have you heard this about the bed bugs spreading round?
Oh yeah, I heard that they were fucking
France.
France has been getting it bad over there, hasn't it?
Apparently, it's been getting worldwide. We're getting infested as well, massively. Apparently, at the moment.
So I mean, bed bugs have always been a thing, though, haven't they?
Yeah, but they haven't been as wild as they're supposed to be.
Do you think this is down to the weather and the climate at the moment?
Yeah,
because it seems a lot warmer, doesn't it? I mean, it's dropped today
as well.
What?
And the lockdown as well.
How do you mean the lockdown?
For COVID.
No, but how do you mean? Why would you say that 3 years after that was something to do with it?
Yeah, because the population went down slowly, but then as we were getting back to society again, the population is bloomed, like in a big...
Yeah, we know, but in terms of like how bed bugs, they have a smaller lifespan than us, overall. So if you think about how many generations of bed bugs have passed since 3 years ago, there must be multiple generations, like a lot more generations than we had or have.
I think
so it's like
than that.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it must be something that's happened over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, the last even couple of cycles of them that bed bug to boom that much, and it's probably more to do with the weather. Do you know what I mean? And this how the weather's been behaving, because if it's decent conditions, then they thrive, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why it's going worldwide to this extent is another thing, because
you're going to get blooms of population of insects or like birds or reptiles, whatever, at a certain stage through evolution anyway, I believe.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I feel like it's just most animals thrive in the wild because they don't have a natural predator, and they're able to kind of keep going. Do you know what I mean? But it's the same thing with the mice over in Australia. They had the problem where they got infested with mice.
Yeah, frogs as well.
And it was because there was nothing to take the mice out.
Yeah.
And so they were left to rampantly breed, and there was a problem. So, whether these are kind of just like a really horny breed of bedbug, and they're just like rampantly going wild and spreading. I mean, it's the only thing I could think of. I couldn't understand how that sort of shift of us being in lockdown would have kind of helped. Yeah, I know, but they lay loads of eggs. But I mean, at the end of the day,
what apparently
most bed bugs, they're in your bed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we doing? Shipping mattresses? I mean, what's the problem? I don't get why they're doing this.
Don't forget, we opened up afterwards, so there was more movement. From around the countries as well. So shipping, like you said, shipping stuff into different countries.
I don't know. If anyone knows the real reason, or why there is a reason why bedbugs are doing bits at the minute, let us know, because it's an interesting one. Animals all over the news this week. A black bear.
All right.
Yeah, a black bear walks into a gas station. It's not a joke. Yeah. But obviously, store clerk was a bit horrified that this bear's just walked into the gas station. Guess what he did?
What?
So this incident happened in Vancouver. So a black bear walks in, growls, picks up a packet of gummy bears, and walks out again.
And that's it.
That is it.
Came in for some gummy bears.
Literally came in for some gummy bears. They were on the people who were working on the shop said that they were like kind of stunned, because obviously the security camera footage shows the bear casually walking into the shop around 6:30 a.m. on Monday, going to the rack, grabbing some gummy bears, and strolling off. Just that's it. That's all he wanted.
Didn't care in the way.
No care in the world. Another little animal story that I found was one about a deer in Missouri.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if this is a protest of some description, whether it's deer hunting season over there or whatever. But this young buck was spotted in late September, and it's basically a deer wearing a dog collar.
Yeah.
Right? And someone's painted the word pet across it. Yeah, right. Obviously, it's
obviously it must
caused
be
a bit of
someone.
curiosity in the area. Officers of the Missouri Department of Conservation responded in the bizarre wildlife report recently near the rural community of is it Festus, around 35 miles southwest of St. Louis. They basically, somebody's obviously wants it to survive. They don't want it to get shot.
Yeah.
So they've put a collar on it and wrote the word pet as if to say, no, don't shoot this one. It belongs to somebody. And I thought that was really cool. But basically, it's got the word pet written across its rib cage.
And the police department thanks the fella for the nice dinner that they had that evening.
Venison.
Yeah.
But obviously, someone most likely is looking out for the deer. And obviously, it's a young buck.
Yeah, I wouldn't paint it. I would have put a sign on it in, like straps or some shit.
Well,
like
strapping
that.
it up, it could get caught on something, I think.
Well, that is true.
I mean, you'd spray paint
sheep. Don't let
sheep.
it go then, do you?
Don't you?
You have the.
You spray paint a sheep.
Well, yeah, but they stay in the field.
I know, but this is roaming, so I mean, at the end of the day, you want it to be visible. If a hunter sees it through his scope,
the space that you can control that it can roam, or it's not your pet.
Well, I would get that, right, and that's why he's causing a bit of controversy in the area, because obviously it's like, well, is it a pet? Well, it's got a collar on it.
Take the collar off, white pet off it, and send it on.
And what? And get it killed? Leave it be, mate. Let it stay a pet.
No,
as far as
do what he wants.
Well, I'm just saying, what the people's opinion? Would you rather let it go around with a collar on it, knowing that that's going to save its life? At some point, a hunter's going to look down his scope, see the word pet written across it, and a pink collar around its neck, and go, nah, best not.
No,
do you know what I mean? Best not. Just out of caution.
That's actually telling me more people will go out and look for that deer to kill it.
No. What would you do? What would Jesus do? Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Well, and we've got another insect infestation.
Oh my God! Another one.
Yeah, Asian hornets. And they reckon that we won't be able to get rid of them either because they're knocking down the nests. Well, every time they're knocking down the nest, there's two more being built straight away, really.
The Hydra.
Yeah.
Can chop off our head and two more will replace it. What, the Hornet Hydra?
Yeah, the new Asian hornets.
So where are they breeding? Where are they going?
All over.
And what, you might find them in the UK, anywhere?
Yeah, they've just come in at the UK and they're just breeding like hell at the minute.
Bloody hell. Well, there you go. Insects running rampant.
Yeah.
I found this really funny story.
Yeah.
Yeah. This actually made me laugh out loud, right? Yeah. So, you know that there was the American emergency alert drill thing that was going on. Yeah, we had one here in the UK. Everyone's mobile phones started going woo woo, like really loud, right? Yeah.
Those who kept it on.
Well, yeah. No, apparently some people who said they can turn it off, but I never. You can't do it on my phone. So it went off anyway, right? Caused a racket. Yeah. Now I was expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine you were trying to keep the fact that you had a mobile phone hidden. A secret
love phone and
you've
stuff
got a
like
phone
that.
hidden away nobody knows about.
Oh
yeah.
No,
all of a sudden alarms going off. Wow.
You should think of that.
Wow. Well, nobody knew. It was very last minute.
True.
Well, the Amish community is in uproar at the moment.
Oh, they found one phone then,
mate.
What?
The Amish men
Eh?
shunned after nationwide emergency alert. Yeah. For finding out that a number of men in the Amish communities had mobile phones. Yeah. Thou shalt not use technology of any kind. Anyway.
Secret agents within the Amish.
Maybe, but the alarms were a part of the US emergency alert drill the government carried out on the 4th of October. But they drew attention to community elders, in this Amish community. The point being, they're not allowed technology. And members of the Amish community don't really use technology. But the alarm sounded on 4th of October, which drew attention to the community elders who were all packing Nokia 3210s or rocking Snake. But obviously, so they've been shunned. There was a tweet that went out and said a couple of my buddies have been shunned today for having mobile phones. Just like tweeting it.
Oh, shit.
Like the fact that you're gonna tweet that, does that not kind of get you in trouble?
I would have thought so. Yeah.
You got Twitter.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
So.
Look, several Amish men got shunned by the Amish church after having smartphones in their pockets when the emergency signal went off. I found that quite funny.
Fucking rules, and
well, no, I mean, like, obviously, if you're going to be like dedicated to that type of lifestyle, then you shouldn't be using a mobile phone in the first place, really.
Why? Yeah, exactly. That's the question. Why did they need that phone?
Who knows what they were up to?
Yeah, they must have been up
bit of Tinder,
gambling,
bit of Grindr.
Hey, Amish mob, man.
Oh, the Amish mafia.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God, done better thinking about. Well, there could be a number of reasons why they had the phones, but they had them and they weren't supposed to be. No, but that meant. Just shouldn't mean you're getting totally kicked out.
But was it just them, or was it their family as well?
God knows. It might be the whole family.
Known some about it.
It's like you go and tell the elder, watching a bit of YouTube.
Hey, yeah, that's how deep social media gets into you.
Yeah, even the Amish communities.
Yeah, can't get away from it.
What would you do if you had a bucket list? You know, you were getting on.
Yeah.
You had all these like your things that you wanted to do in life. What what would it be that you'd do?
Oh, well, I've got quite a few things. I don't think this episode will be long enough for.
Oh, my God, he's got loads of bucket list items.
What would you do?
I mean, I don't know. Same, probably. I've got too many things I'd want to do.
Yeah.
Would you do a skydive?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd do a skydive. You'd do a naked skydive.
I'd do a naked skydive, yeah.
Well, I was reading this story here about a 104-year-old, yeah?
All right.
She sadly just passed away, right, yeah? 104.
That's good, isn't it?
But she peacefully died, in her sleep. But 1 week after, she did a world record skydive at 104. She must have ticked off all the bucket list items.
Yeah.
And then just thought, I'm happy. I'm done now. Yeah, I thought that was such a great story that this woman's done this. And obviously, like, I'm hoping that she died happy and did peacefully in her sleep.
Sounds like she did. Sounds like she's hit what she wanted to do.
I'm just trying to get the story up, but it's being a bit slow. But it's okay. Have you got any? Oh, here we go. 104-year-old dies peacefully in her sleep 1 week after a world record skydive. Chicago News reported on this. The woman likely set a world record in the last week of being the oldest person to do a skydive, but she passed away. According to the report of the Chicago Tribune, Dorothy Hoffen died peacefully on Monday night, but she did actually complete the skydive. She was the oldest woman to ever achieve it. She jumped from 13,500 feet. The dive lasted about 7 minutes. A spokesman for the skydiving Chicago said that they were happy to know that the skydiving experience served as an amazing cap to her to her life. And obviously like a well-lived life by the sounds of it. But yeah, she would have been 105 in December.
See.
So got to give her a good fucking give her a credit there. Do you know what I mean? That sounds like she's lived. Do you know what I mean? She's literally lived. But the Guinness World Records are going to be reviewing the information and confirming whether she actually is the oldest skydiver in history. But because the current world record was set in May 2022 by a 103-year-old.
Oh, so there's competition out there
from
possibly.
Sweden. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, she's not going to hold it for long.
Well, she might get it and hold it for fucking ages. As what another 104 5-year-old's going to be able to jump?
Wow, yeah.
Or want to jump?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're going to have that lust for life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a 106 Japanese woman. She might want.
Well, if you want to convince her to do a skydive, she might be a record breaker.
See what we could do.
Get Cheryl Baker down.
Yeah.
Give her a fucking medal.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Anyway, anything you've seen in the news?
More details of human brains mapping they've just found another 3,300 types of cells.
Well, these are all those things that you were talking about, your telekinesis cells and stuff that.
Yeah.
Anything like a bit of like, moving the furniture around or texting your dad's mobile.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Or your superpowers. That's when you get it, you know what I mean?
Maybe we were all, this is what it was. Maybe these aliens, do you know when we say we got manipulated?
Yeah.
Maybe they came down and went, oh, these guys could be dangerous. Well, let's just isolate that bit and say they're not allowed to use the rest of it, because if they did, fuck me.
Well, that's what Inky's brother tried to do in the Syrian stories of what happened. Yeah,
there you go.
Give us too much details to actually, have brains and.
No, I'm talking about the opposite. Maybe like make it so we can't use that. Access that other side of the brain.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go on. What have they found?
So they haven't named all of them, but a majority of them that they've actually found, and it's the new map of the brain. So they map it like every couple of years or something, to see.
They sail around it.
Yeah.
Get the cartographers in.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Make sure we get the right
brains
stuff.
ho.
Yeah. So the new one's just come out. I think it was in a paper.
The new A to Z of the brain.
Yeah.
Taxi drivers are memorising it.
Which it just confirmates that we still don't know a lot more, even though not that long ago we were saying that like we know near enough everything about the brain, and we really don't.
We know nothing. I'm so sorry about yawn. Yeah. But I'm not bored. No, they map the brain, but it's like I say, it's like new tests and new kind of like development make us. We're able to go deeper and smaller and more minute. It's like you were saying earlier about breaking an atom and finding that it's got binary in there.
Yeah.
You can always go smaller. It's just you can always go larger. You can always go smaller. It's always the technology that holds us back. Well, and then as we develop that, we were able to kind of unlock things that,
how low do we want to go?
How low can you go? How can you go down low?
Do we want to go to know everything? And what would it be a surprise if we found ourselves doing what we're doing now?
Mate, if I was limboing, I'd go low. I'd want to go low. Anyway,
I'd have to watch me back.
How low can the government go? In terms
of
trying to push the climate change message.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've got the vegetarians on board. We've got the clean energy people on board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who else have we got on board? Everyone's on board.
Greens.
The Greens. Yeah. Now, what about your beer drinkers? Are they on board yet, or can they not be asked? They're not bothered.
Oh, they're as long as they enjoy their life.
As long as they're enjoying the beer. Well, climate change could, according to the BBC, make beer taste bad.
Bullshit.
Apparently can. Global warming is changing the quality of the taste of beer, scientists are warning. They're not just telling, they're warning. Yeah, right. Oh, this is a catastrophe. A study that reveals the quality of the European hops, which gives its beer its distinct bitter taste, is declining.
It's declining.
The quality of the hops.
Bullshit. I think that all they do is to convince them even more. Is just change the beer slightly, like add something to it that it tastes slightly different until they conform on what we
whether they
want.
Can get the hops better. Yeah. I mean, well, no, because it's the weather conditions, isn't it? So it's like farmers usually in the normal everyday seasonal weather. Yeah. We can judge it, and we've kind of had this long period of kind of like a pattern. Yeah. But the world's not like that. And things change. Exactly. And some years you get better crops, some years you get shit crops because of the weather.
Move to another area if you think that you can get better crops.
So, the fact is that's going to be the case. That, like, you might have grown cabbages in that field for fucking generations, but all of a sudden it's waterlogged and you can't do shit. Yeah? That's life, right? Yeah.
And that's
I wouldn't put it down to the climate change ruining beer, yeah? But... I mean, obviously, these guys are going to be like, come on, we need to protest and we need to save the earth.
People on our side.
We need to save the hops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the hops.
Well, who knows? Well, maybe it is. But obviously, the author of the report is warning growers of hops.
Yeah.
To say that, you know, obviously, like the beer samples in the or staple in the European culture is worth 8.5 billion pints sold in the UK alone.
I bet he got a big fat check for
So obviously, like they've got an invested interest in the reason why. All of a sudden, we need to take an interest in climate change.
Yeah, funny, innit? Yeah, money maker. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, but I mean, obviously, there's the craft beer industry as well, who rely on kind of buying, you know, hops from, you know, and they want quality hops because they want to make premium ales, don't they?
GM hops soon anyway.
Well, that's maybe what they'll probably end up leaning towards.
Change.
Yeah. Well, anything else you've seen?
What
do you think? Nasty climate beer.
I know. I don't think he's going to do a goddamn thing. The only thing they'll be the ones who would change it, not the hops.
Oh.
All right. So a group of people have decided to take the UK government to the International Criminal Courts.
What for?
For criminal against humanity. Crimes
against humanity,
which is under the Roman Act of 2001, 71F and 71E, under the Roman statute, which basically they should.
What are the grounds, or what are they saying they're taking them court for?
What the grounds are for the Home Office. For not basically doing the stuff that they previously said. But
every government's guilty of that.
Yeah, but no, these are set in stone. These are set in contracts. These are set that they have to do, not the case that they want to do.
They pledge to do during their elective. Yeah.
And it should have been dealt with by 2014. Priti Patel stated at the time before she became Home Secretary that all this needs to be dealt with, and if she got into office, she would have dealt with it, and promises and contracts basically. Then she become Foreign Secretary, and she shut up about it. She didn't say anything. She didn't do anything about it. So these individuals, this group, have actually gone to court to actually charge him with it. So they have to do what they...
Well, they should be doing the work they said they were going to do anyway. I mean, the fact is that the Conservative government hasn't really kind of made on any of the promises they've suggested.
Exactly.
Mainly, just took the piss a bit.
It's about time they took back to... But he was talking about our courts, about kind of being in on it. And this is the kind of thing I've been saying about our rights are being taken away, and yet we can't do anything about it. Where we should be able to turn around and say, no, we're not.
Well, this is the thing, because I mean, governments, people forget they're not untouchable. They are put in place by the public to serve the public, not to give them this power trip over the rest of us. To think that they are the bee's knees and the boss.
The masters.
And we are their subjects. That is not how it works. No. And the sooner that these people realise that, that they're not in fucking untouchable and they're not infallible.
Exactly.
That they will. They've got to stand fucking for their actions, and they've got to be kind of held accountable for their actions.
This is always have to wait. There is no accountability. That's the problem.
Well, exactly, because no one says or does anything about it. It's like this has been going back as far as Tony Blair with war crimes and doing things in our name that we never signed off for, and even further back, right? The idea that these people go on to have great careers after the fact and don't get in any sort of fucking
money talks, doesn't it?
Any trouble for any of the business that they've been dealt with or been involved with. It speaks volumes, basically, doesn't it?
And I think the people are getting more and more sick of it because we're spotting it more and more.
We're just waking up to it, really. I mean,
we just got to keep waking up and put our foot down on it if we can. But hopefully with no violence, you know what I mean? But if it comes to it, there's quite a lot of groups out there ready for that kind
100%. Is there anything else you've seen? No,
that's
you're
it
all
from
good.
me, buddy.
We've got a bit of NASA news. I've got one more story. This is about a German art thief.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. German museum employee has been swapping paintings
Naughty.
for fakes and selling the originals to fund his luxury lifestyle. Yeah, you know, if you're going to fund anything, that's what you fund, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a German museum employee has been swapping out paintings for fakes, sold the originals to buy luxury goods, including Rolls-Royce and expensive wristwatches, according to the court service.
Where did you say he got his money from? That's the
Exactly.
thing.
Well, this is it, isn't it? The 30-year-old man remains unnamed due to German strict policies and laws.
Yeah.
Also convicted also being convicted of stealing 3 other artworks, but jailed. But avoided jail. Because he was handed a 21-month suspended sentence in order to pay the museum more than €60,000 back. Yeah,
right.
Well, this was
Probably
the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a press release published on Monday said that the court is sentencing took him into account that the man had no
previous.
No, he had no fucking genuine remorse for anything he did.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
So apparently, like, he's done this before, got a 21-month suspended sentence, and carried on doing it again. Yeah, that's how it sounds. The man who was an employee at the Duchess's Museum in München worked in the collections management team from May to 2016 to 2018. During the time, he stole a few artworks. The Frog and the Prince was one of them. The paintings were worth up to 74,000.
So they weren't really there, but there was
enough to get him
$100,000.
You know what I mean? Like, or a couple of grand. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got that money for it. He would have got like.
The thing I was kind of like thinking about was like you never really hear about heists like this or people doing this type of thing anymore because everything's so well documented nowadays. Yeah. We know where paintings are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So like if I was to Google a famous painting, it'd say it's hanging up in such and such museum.
The Louvre.
Yeah. So for it to suddenly go on sale, even if you were a private art collector and you just wanted it, you would still know that it was a stolen piece of art that you could never put out there as you own it.
But the criminal underground don't mind that shit.
Well, I suppose what he should have done. What he should have done then, in that case, was tell them that the piece that they were selling them was the original, and that the piece in the museum was a fake. Yeah.
Fuck that. I would rather fucking nick from the museum than turn round to a mobster and go.
How do you know it's a mobster? It could just be some guy who likes art.
He might, but
well,
if
it's
the
end of the
underground,
day,
there's more likely there's connections
but the fact
and
is,
you find out
right?
that
No,
it's
but if you
fake.
think about it, right, you've got a music. Well, it's got to be a good fake in order for the museum, who's full of experts, to kind of for it to go unnoticed, right?
For a while, but he still got caught.
I know he got caught, right? But they're experts in a museum, right, who see this work every day. Yeah, if you're gonna blag anyone, you're gonna blag the museum that can get you arrested. The worst that these art dealers do is go, oh, right, well, I made a mistake. Yeah, he's coming for your kneecaps or whatever, right?
I think it'd be more than just your fucking kneecaps, to be honest.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think, if you're going to blag someone, I'd maybe try and not blag the one that's going to get you arrested.
But being arrested, you could be back. You could
be murdered. Yeah, totally.
I mean? Instead, you're getting murdered, or even worse, your family gets involved in shit like
either
that.
way, you're swindling someone, aren't you?
Yeah.
So who does it matter? Yeah. Well, does it really matter who you're swindling?
Don't do it in the first place.
Just as long as somebody believes they've got the original.
Yeah.
Then what's it?
Well,
matter?
yeah, but it's not the belief. It's you got to know that there will be checks.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at is the museum, which is full of experts who see that painting on a daily basis. Yeah, right. Eventually they spotted it.
Yeah,
right?
When they might take him down, they might have.
But they might not have. I don't know how this guy was caught. He might have got caught literally red-handed taking the thing off the wall.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's how they caught him.
Where's video?
Where's video
in all this? Yeah.
Or anything like that, right? But how do I know that these forgeries that he's replaced in the museum weren't that good that nobody even noticed? And if he wouldn't have got caught, how long would it be before they got noticed? So therefore, yeah, all I could do is, you're the buyer. I go, yeah, it's the original. I swapped it out, so the one in the museum's a fake.
Better be I'm getting it checked, and if it
well,
you
original, can get it checked, but like at the end of the day,
family, you know what I mean?
I made a mistake. I forgot this one. Oh, I forgot to swap this one. I'll do it.
Yeah, you'll do it. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you won't do now. You're gone,
anyway.
Mate.
Well, what would you do? What would you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, would you risk the mobsters, or we're assuming too much in this scenario?
We are, but you know, we
no, you are.
Yeah,
the guy I'm selling to is just some geeky art collector, but for you, you're like the captain.
You got money, you got connections.
The captain of How I Met Your Mother,
and you'd have to send it underground. You can't just send it to one of the.
But that's what I'm saying, because you're missing the point as well, right? Because if I was you're an art collector.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that this is the original. You're never allowed to take it to be checked, because unless you've got an art guy who you can trust completely,
you
take it to any other art guy,
you're
going to take that to any other art guy. They're going to go, well, isn't this hung up in the museum? And they're going to question you, So you can't. No, that's what I'm saying. You'd have to have somebody who was in on it. But you took it to any other art critic or any other art dealer. They're going to be like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So chances are they're going to just store that shit and believe you.
No, I believe 100%. That the guy at the side who's going to look at
he's so
negative. Put his head into it that he knows every bit of.
Remind me never to have a nefarious plan with you, because you just pick it apart. We'd end up spending the full 2 weeks arguing about whether it could be possible or not.
Yeah, well, you got to think
trust. You just got to trust in. You've got to trust in your partner's plan, bro.
Yeah.
You just don't, do you?
He's got to go underground.
Shut up. Shut up. You've said enough. You're boring. Right. Anyway, I don't know. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got NASA news coming up. Sorry. People are laughing now because they're telling you off. But anyway, hidden in plain sight. There is rumours going around that there is a UFO here on planet Earth.
Yes, I've heard about
the rumours that this UFO is hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
Where could it be? Well, it could be in one of 5 countries.
Only 5 countries?
One of, yeah. And it could be England, Canada, Australia, America, or somewhere else. I don't know.
First place.
No, apparently it's not America.
Oh, is it?
Well, there's a few people saying that it could be the Sydney Opera House, right? Because the rumours that are going round, or the claims that are being made, are... I know I don't... Yeah. But they're claiming that this is a landmark building that if people knew, they would flock to it, right? I was like, Millennium Dome, yeah?
Yeah.
No one's actually saying what building this is, yeah? But there's apparently strong evidence to suggest it, right? Yeah. Now, we'll be looking into this a bit more. But I thought it was quite a kitsch little news story, considering what's going on at the moment.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Has there been a UFO? It's almost like that bit of Men in Black. Do you know, where it's like, the Seattle Space Needle,
well,
it's a UFO.
Be a really, really old structure, because think about it, you couldn't move it there today.
Well, this is the thing, apparently it's so big that it is unmovable. Yeah.
Oh, so it was planted there, we found it, we covered it, and go like, right.
Yeah, we built something around it. Nobody knows.
Could be fucking anywhere.
Could be anywhere, really, couldn't it? Where do you think it could be? I don't know. Like I said, Millennium Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Nah, I don't think the Millennium Dome.
Well, apparently it's not a circle. It's a triangular shape object. So who knows what the building is around it? But apparently, if they said, then you'd be like, oh.
Well, I have heard there's one a mothership that was landed in Nevada. And they couldn't move it, so they actually buried it where it sat.
Ah, right, okay. Well, I mean, Denver Airport, if we were talking America, then I'd say Denver Airport, because obviously it's like another airport right round the corner from the airport. No need for an airport. We're just going to build one anyway and dig a big hole.
Oh, could it be in the mountain?
Well, no, because this is the thing, you see, because everyone who's talking about it keeps saying that it's somewhere.
Egypt, innit? It's one of the fucking.
They basically said there is at least 1 million people around it right now.
So it's a city then.
It's in a city. That's what makes me think it's going to be it's going to be somewhere. And if you knew what it was, people would flock to it. Let me know your guesses, guys. I'd love to know what people
pyramids.
think. No, maybe the pyramids. There are 1 million people around the pyramids.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Live off to the side, don't they? There's loads.
Maybe. Who
Possibly
knows?
1 million.
Could be the
I would
pyramids.
have thought so. In that area, and it's very, you know what I mean. There's loads of tourism.
Yep, true. Well, countries are following suit in terms of disclosure, getting their UFO secrets out. Italy.
Oh.
Yeah, Italy's UFO secrets are going to be exposed. Documents reportedly revealing details about crashed alien spacecraft are going to be revealed. A top U.S. intelligence officer claims that in World War II, American Air Forces retrieved a UFO that crashed in Italy in 1933.
Yes, and they have been quite open actually. The Italian Air Force and military over the years.
Well, this is a David Grish claim. So he's saying that in one of these alien spacecrafts crashed in northern Italy in 1933. Was captured by the American forces at the end of World War II. Italian researcher Robert Pinta has searched extraterrestrial details, or like searched the craft and looked for any details of the saucer crash, and supposedly documents of his claims have been obtained.
Sweet.
According to him, Pinta, the crash occurred on June 13th, 1933, in northern Italy, 14 years before the Roswell incident. Not very well talked about, but it was obtained by the US just after World War II. Well, I'll be interested to find that out, and especially if it's going to be going to any of the Congress hearings, especially like if these documents do get leaked as well, because the documents were anonymously mailed from sources that claim to be basically a family member who worked on the UFO program.
Interesting.
So who knows whether they're legit or hoax or whatever. It's always weird when people anonymously send things.
Yeah, but then
do you know what I mean?
Look after the safety as well.
True that. You might not want to be. You might imagine you going through someone's loft, your uncle's loft or auntie's loft, and you find a load of documents that are like, whoa,
very important documents,
buried hidden information. It's like you might not want to be involved, but you might think, shit, this needs to be out there.
Yeah.
I mean?
Well,
so
that's the
knows?
thing. That'd be my thought as well. Which one is it? Does the public need to know? Right? Yeah.
Well, here's another UFO story. A UFO shooting out mysterious rings into the sky will make you say aliens are here. Because it's harder to distinguish what's fact and rumor and things in the sky. You know, what is a UFO? But obviously, it's obviously got a lot of skeptics as well as a lot of supporters of aliens and extraterrestrial stuff at the minute. But apparently, like
we had a visit round here actually.
What? Where?
Round here 3 days ago, 3 UFOs were spotted in Doncaster.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this one was apparently a UFO that was spotted over Dallas 2 days ago. Oh, well, last week.
Yeah.
And they said there was a number of things that made them think the witnessed in the sky, made the witnesses think, because what they witnessed in the sky. They didn't know if it was a man-made rocket, human propelled thing, something made by Elon Musk or whatever.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But it was something blowing smoke rings.
Well, there's a couple of rumours going around at the minute that the fake alien invasion.
Oh yeah,
it's just starting now.
Okay, so we're all going to be like.
So we just got to be aware of that. It could be fake.
Aware of the tricks.
Yeah, just be
maybe
aware of the tricks and don't fall for it.
Well, if I mean, are you not going to ring me and go, "Oh, they're here"? I bet you do.
I think we're all know at the same time, to be honest.
Well, I think we will.
Social media these days.
Obviously, I think that if it's on, if it'd be big news, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We'd be definitely getting a few phone calls that day.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the big metal meteorite?
No.
Yeah, well, this is the space agency, NASA, are going to be sending up a probe, which is going on a mission to have a look around a metal-rich asteroid.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
They're going to be sending up a probe because they believe that this metal-rich asteroid could be full of rare metals.
Sweet.
Yeah, not only that, but diamonds and rubies.
Yeah, they're there for greed.
So we're already capturing asteroids mid-flight and bringing them back to Earth. So I think if this one was one that they were going to try and get their hands on, it'd be worth. They've identified this one as like a target, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, we do need to start thinking about getting materials from outside of our own Earth, because, like, we're wrecking it by digging these bloody holes. But
well, basically, it is risky. But do you want to hear the risk?
Go on.
What they're risking it for a biscuit for?
What?
Right. Well, they've estimated that this metal asteroid, could be worth
$1
trillion. Try 10,000 quadrillion dollars.
That's a nice little budget.
10,000 quadrillion dollars. This asteroid is expected potentially to be worth in rare metals and jewellery. Jewels, stuff. One-eyed Willie's trinkets.
Whoever's going to go up there and actually bring the minerals down and that's going to cost up to about $2 trillion, if not more.
Well, it's going to take them 7 years to get there.
Oh, right, okay.
For a start, right?
So then the technology should be built.
Well, maybe.
By then,
they'll be hoping to be able to. This is a reconnaissance, isn't it? They're sending a probe. They want to see if they can find anything worth saving or bringing back. But when it's going to take 7 years to get there, they do hope to find such precious stones and metals as diamonds, rubies, and a multitude of metal.
Yeah.
So whether they can retrieve it or not, they might even just send people up to mine it. I don't know.
True.
If it's worth it. But an estimated value of $10 quadrillion might be worth it.
Yeah, but yeah. Hopefully, if they get it right. But yeah, let's just hope they get it right.
Right.
We've got more than 7 years now, haven't we, to think about it.
True.
Really.
Exactly. That's it. How do we catch that bad boy? Have you got any more news?
Forward, though. It is good for thinking forward.
We're running out of resources. We need external help.
Well, that's it. Right. Well, last week, a gentleman called Frank Rubio come back to Earth.
Okay. From the ISS.
No one. He's gone. He went up in his spacecraft, and he was on a mission for 6 months. But then there was a leak. So within this leak, he couldn't get back.
So he's just been floating around up there?
Yeah.
What about food and stuff? Did he have enough supplies?
Well, this is where scientists are now realising that this guy could actually help with, and all what's happened could actually help us when we land on another planet.
So understand how to survive out there a little bit better. Yeah. So what's his situation?
He lasted 371 days, or just over a year up there, and he come down the other day.
So what was his supply situation like?
Well, if you had 6 months worth of supply,
you just half it, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Or even if you've taken, like, let's say 25%, then at least on some of the products you could, like, have it again, or even just take a mouthful or something like that. There should be whatever they did, they're going to probably use it now as an example that you can survive to this degree as far as we understand.
Yeah, but obviously it'd be better not to survive and just be basically like be able to survive with enough kind of nourishment and that, sustenance. Yeah.
And not only that, the gravity. When he's come back, he's in hospital at the moment, but the gravity would feel, like 10 times heavy.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, is he kind of like broke any records for being out there for the longest period of time?
I think he might have broke the record for being out there the longest time. Yeah,
wow, and he's just been literally stuck up there. Was there no plans of retrieving him, or was there no way he could get to the ISS or anything like that?
Well, it must have happened as he was going to wherever he was going, and that.
Sorry, love, just popping off to the shops, and he's just like fucked.
Makes me question where was he going?
Yes, exactly. What was he up to?
What a one-man pod?
Yeah, exactly.
6 months.
Where was he going?
The ISS, but it wasn't the ISS.
Well, yeah, because you would have heard that all over the news.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so why was this not mainstream news in the slightest?
Yeah, and where was he going?
Well, he was on a secret mission. It's the only fact that it's kind of like made headlines because he's come home. But interesting one. We'll have to maybe find out a bit more about that, about what the mission was and where he was going.
I think it might have been a secret mission, so I don't think we're going to get any information.
Buck Rogers.
Speculation.
His name wasn't Buck Rogers, was it? In the 21st century.
Frank Rubio in
the 24th century. What?
47 as
well. Good on him.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I think is that all the news today?
I've got one more.
Well, hurry up. Sorry, I'm being a bit of a dick tonight to Taylor. I do apologise.
That plans have just been revealed on making building roads on the moon.
Roads on the moon
from Earth.
What?
Yeah, because all you need is a laser, bang, on the.
Right, okay.
And, we'll make that little path so it makes it easier for products to be landed. And
so what they're gonna mark it out with lasers from Earth. What are they gonna do? Like do road markings?
Fire a laser, right?
And what? Create roads?
Long. If it was long, like let's say 60 feet long by, 60 feet long. Laser, that you could mark the moon and make a road pattern. Don't forget, you only last like if a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes, because the moon's moving, we're moving as well. What I mean?
That's interesting. Well,
apparently they've been thinking about it since 2000.
They're going to fire a laser here and it'll explode, and that'll be that.
They can only go to some depth, can't they? Because with it being a spaceship,
with it being metal underneath and everything. Well, there you go. Great episode. I hope you'll agree. We've got some shout outs. Big shout out to Complexity. Also big shout out to Joe. Big shout out to Ben. Thank you so much. Joe or John, thank you so much for your subscription. Big shout out to the Black Nun.
The Black Nun, yeah.
He's a dude. I like him. We've got special plans for Black Nun coming up. Yeah. Big shout out to Louisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And big shout out to Vicky. Thank you for all your support, guys. Thanks for everybody who tunes in over on TikTok as well for the lives, as well as everything we do, the podcast, as well as
we appreciate you all
just being general fans of us. We'll be back next week for another exciting episode.
Oh yeah,
got loads coming up over the coming months and weeks. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts, so you can go over to Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Castbox, wherever, everywhere, iHeartRadio, the lot.
We're like a virus.
We're all over social media, so all you need to do is Google Never a Straight Answer podcast, and you'll find us. It's all good. Go to the website, neverastraightanswer.co.uk, or email us at neverastraightanswer@outlook.com. Is there anything else that I'm missing?
No, I think that's it.
Got merch, we got bits, we got stuff. You can subscribe. It's all available. Go and check out the Linktree link. And we'll be back next week.
We will, indeed.
Thank you to everyone who's made it this far.
Yeah,
you're all bloody legends.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll be back for another show next week. So, thank you so much. I've been Gaz.
I've been Sailor.
We'll see you next time. Peace.
Out.